the speaking of today is church never liked us. Artist, actor as creator, etc., etc. It's a wonderful title. First, because it's true. Second, because it's very inspiring. When I read this proposition the first time, it's immediately comes to me the idea of the strong creativity which the actor need to be author, to be owner of his own role. Because subject, of course, is creativity. Because without creativity, the actor, the artist, cannot be owner, cannot be, how to say, responsible of his role. Then it's, don't ask why, but it's happened. It's come to me the title of one rock and roll, which was the Appetite of Destruction from the Guns N' Roses in the 90s. Because, you know, destruction is part of the process of creativity. I cannot create without destroy something that it was before. Destroy, transform, whatever. Appetite for destruction, which means, indeed, appetite for creativity. Of course, if you are a rock and roll band, you cannot call Appetite for Creativity some album. Doesn't work. But Appetite for Destruction, yes. And all this input that's come to me from this title, me now the church never like us. It's quite strong, especially in this moment, because what we need more is creativity. It's creativity to be owner, to be responsible of our, not only our role, but for our art, for our artistic life. So where we get our creativity, where we get our energy. And of course, I was checking several myths, several you know, from the past. Some moment you look backward to see if it's already happened, something like this. If you find in some myth, in some old story, something that is happened already, or if something that it's already told by the big memories of the human being about creativity, about artistic position, about everything. And I was looking for the cosmogonic myth, the first creation myth. It's cosmogonic, creation of the cosmogonia. And I understand that to understand better this, I should listen to the Greek guy, because the Greek guy for sure is more expert than the Italian guy. So please, Dimitris.
I cannot say that as Greek we are more expert about cosmogony. I mean, cosmogonic myths we can find in many traditions. Actually, myself and with my team, we did a research and a project on the cosmogonic myths. My motivation to go to this area was exactly to research which kind of structures, which kind of matrix, which kind of scheme we find in the cosmogonic myths that perhaps could be useful for us, for theater. Of course, I mean, we can see that even in the cosmogonic myths, the structure is very different between them. Mainly, what is quite common in most of these myths of creation is that till we get the harmony, let's say, of creation, there is lots of slaughter, destruction, war. It's not easy. The common, I mean, myth from the Bible is an exception, we can say, because the myth in the Bible, things are happening quite easy. You remember, he said, "Let there be light," and there light happened, and then he said, "Oh, it's good." Then let there. So it's quite easy myth, but this is quite an exception. In any case, what is common, and I'm coming, let's say, to your point about distraction, is in all the myths we have a beginning from the chaos. We have a beginning from nothingness. And this is, let's say, this is something that we can follow as direction for in order to produce our creativity, meaning that we have, in a way, to put ourselves in a chaotic condition, in a condition of non-control, in a condition of expanding, let's say, the limits of reason, in order then to have really the need, the appetite, as you said, to start creating in order, let's say, to survive from this chaos. Because in the chaos we cannot live for so long. That's in my opinion why it's why creation is so hard, because it passes through this necessity, in my understanding.
Yes, you're right, because you use the one of the word which I like it very much, which is mystery, because exists this how can I say it in English, the moment of the creation, it's mystery, and it's something unknown, because first of all, is very subjective. It's different for all of us, for all of the people, for all of the artists. At the same time, the artist itself cannot exactly describe it, this mystery, but it's really the point of the actor as creator, I think.
Yeah. I mean, exactly in what you're speaking about, this mystery, it's the point of Stefan Zweig, the author, in this essay about the mystery of artistic creation. For him, it's, let's say, it's a theme why artists cannot really define, cannot really describe the process of creation. To him, it's, in a way, the answer that he gives is that that the artist is not exactly present in the moment of creation. To him, let's say, this ecstatic, as he calls it, condition that's happening through during the artistic creation cannot let the artist be present to observe exactly and really to explain how that happened. On the other hand, I can say we have several wonderful deep studies, like Arthur Kessler's the Act of Creation, which they give us very precise, very beautiful descriptions. Still, we can say that part of mystery exists during this moment of creation, because it's since we have an experience of this moment, of course we are looking for this experience. We are looking. We have a point of reference, first of all, for ourselves, because before asking the reflection, let's say, of the audience, of the colleagues, or whatever. And this moment, we can say, it's transcending. It's could be ecstatic. In my impression, it's a connection. It's a connection between the two worlds, if I may say, the inner and the outside world. Somehow the conflict of the two worlds is resolved, and then we have this feeling of belonging, let's say, in something wider. It's an escape. It's an escape from time. In my understanding, it's an escape from this understanding of time, like moment and moment and moment and moment. It's a break of this routine.
May I pick up your wonderful thought, and especially from the Greek side? Several people here whom I see, I think they remember also the work with Platon, Ion, because it's exactly this moment when Ion refuses to accept this sacred moment of creativity, because Socrates asked him for a long time how you are doing your art. So it just pops up, and I think you already mentioned a lot of that. This process is a certain way of sacred process, that it's exactly that you cannot grab it, that you cannot exactly define it, and you connect with some other, let's say, forces. Somehow we connected also with inspiration. And then we are coming back. I like them to make a reprise to our title when we said the church never liked us, because it's a parallel act. It's in fact so much similarity to the process of sacred, religious, spiritual practices that, of course, an organization who likes to have monopole doesn't like to give so much this monopole away. But if we now leave this conflict with the church aside, we understand that the art of acting is very much connected, of course, with the art of the priests, of the shaman, of the person who makes the contact with here, with our earth, and another world. Again, we are in conflict with church, because who is supposed to do that? Are we as free actors, as artists, allowed to receive this kind of inspiration, interpret it, and move it to the people? And in fact, the old Greek, they were much more relaxed about this question, because they organized, in fact, the theaters as people of healing places. They put them really practically exactly between the temple and the placa. And in the middle was the church, in the middle was the theater, where this process of creation could take place. Just now, for now, because I think Dimitris wanted to continue with this process of creation.
Oh, I mean, don't know, Olga. I see Olga in my screen, and because I know something about her ideas about our theme, I would gladly listen to. Olga, your microphone.
It's a very exciting subject, really. It's subject that makes me quite emotional, because it's the subject that touches directly the, the existential questions, the questions of the basis, the questions of life, because creation, first and foremost, is a manifestation of life itself. It's clear why we decided to let's say to afford ourselves this familiarity, to invite the world church into our conversation, not because I think we're here to discuss some institutional particularities of it, but first of all, yes, to understand all the, as Kandinsky says in his artistic manifest, all the privileges, but also all the obligations that it puts on us to claim yourself a creator, the role which is very traditionally is given to one very clear guy in the Christian church. But I think that, of course, this rivalry between church and actor is not only about the symbolic status of creator, but of course it's also over this power of the influence and impact to the people, to the congregation, to the audience. Church claims not only monopoly on creation, but monopoly on providing spiritual experience for people and on interpretation of metaphysical knowledge. And of course, we speak mostly from the perspective of tension between theater and Christian church, but in fact, any institutionalized monotheistic religion has some degree of criticism towards not artistic expression in general, not at all, but particularly towards the actor, the acting, because actor is someone who, while being a human in the first place, in some not so easily understandable way, uses his own body to transcend himself. Actor is someone who publicly performs this very, frightening trick of becoming someone else, of communicating something that it is not. So recognition of this danger that actor poses for the church in this sense is at the same time recognition of actors' wonderful powers. So I think that it is not only hate relationship, but it is love and hate relationship. It's the relationship of very careful interest and at the same time of being mesmerized. In fact, it is actually a monarchy, which is historically connected with the monotheistic religion, that all the time wanted to keep very close to itself the actor figure, the figure of a joker, the figure of a jester, the figure of a court fool, and therefore it also cultivated this culture immensely, and made it such a great news for all the further development of professional theater and acting schools, and playful traditional in particular. So somehow this is the wonderful, this amazing part. Actor or performer, not like artists of the other disciplines, he's limited in his instruments to his own body, but he still manages to trespass this limitation and manifest the other realities. He becomes a living example of this, as was mentioned before, this mythological archetype of magical creation, mutation, or transformation. And in fact, I think that Stanislavski and his wonderful work on defining the art and craft of acting is wonderful, not only because it is the most profound attempt in the history of professional theater to legitimize theater as a professional formation, but it is exceptional because I think it is also the attempt to capture the magic, if you know what I mean. It's the attempt to gain some sort of control over the mystery of creation, over the mystery, you know, of life itself. So it is impossible to deny this mesmerizing effect of the actor that it has to us, as it's impossible to deny that some of our strongest spiritual experiences are often connected to some sort of artistic impressions. And I think that in fact any spiritual catharsis, revelation, enlightenment is always an aesthetical experience. Because it is always a moment of somehow being struck by the greatness of beauty. It is always the experience of living the beauty. Indigenous people, the people of paganism, the tribes practicing shamanism, they explain the sense of life not as the out of ourselves concept, but as an actual experience, as actual the sense of life is the sensation of life, is experiential of this life. But also these people have a beautiful explanation of why our ancestors always put the most precious things that they had on their altars, not because they were, primitive people trying to please spirits in the most obvious way they had, but exactly because they understood this intricate relationship between aesthetics and ethics. So somehow aesthetical nature of spiritual experience for me indicates at the same time spiritual aim of any aesthetical practice. The miracle of creation in artistic practice, this mystery that my colleagues were speaking about, I think for me is always a moment of deep cognition, of discovery of transcendental knowledge. It is an aim of creation in a way, and it means. So yes, it's a point with which I think Church has a difficulty to live.
And I would like to add the one word when you said ethics and aesthetics, and which starts with the nearly same vowel, energy. Because I think everything what we are speaking about, in fact, it burns down to the big notion of energy. Everything is subsumed with this. We try to connect with creation. If we say it's creating something new, giving birth to something, energy. And at the same time, it's reciprocal, it's receiving. So I would like to take the attention that creativity is not only I'm giving, but this process of creativity is in fact, I am working, preparing myself towards the moment of receiving. And in this moment when I'm receiving, how can I receive? I need to open my channels. I need to open any kinds of, some people speak about chakra, about the channel coming from above, however. But I need to make myself, to bring myself to a disposition when I can give up let's say, surrender, and open my whole system to receive. And then something can speak through me. This is on the different beliefs. If this is now God or some spiritual force or whatever, it's, in any case, of course, it's some, let's say, spiritual experience what we have. Everyone believes in different things. But this opening the channels makes us to do something which is not really ourselves. At the same time, it is ourselves. And it's opening the question, which I would like to pass on then also to my colleagues, this, let's say, antagonism, or these two sides of the coin, receiving inspiration, uncontrollable, and at the same time, we are preparing ourselves, and creation can be a very conscious act. Let's say if I'm preparing a performance, I'm very precise as director. It's not only some foo-foo, fa-fa and experience. No, I should prepare performance. I should create very precisely things to communicate to my actors. So it's very, let's say, ungraspable, and it's very concrete. It surprises me by coming, but I should prepare myself. So is it inspiration or is it plan? Or how is the relationship between?
Good provocation.
Yes, please, help me, help me.
You know, it's always both. It's always balance between what I'm expecting and what it's new, which is surprising me. It's balance, because as I'm speaking as director in this case, if I'm looking to provoke the actors to open something new through their talent, their art, their inspiration, their creativity, of course will happen something which I never expect. So question is, am I ready to accept it, or I should go on my view? It's balance. It's really in between what we expect, what we never expect, which open really something new, because this is the power of the creativity. Destroy and recreate plan, open new path, open well, new way. So one of the question is the relationship between the creator and the creatures. You know, we create something, of course, knowing exactly what we are going to do, what we realize, everything professionally. We know it. But my relation between me as artist, creator, and my creature, it's something as well to speak about. Olga, help me, because I will stop to the Frankenstein. I mean, to me, best example is
they already are calling your creations creatures, and it's already, you know, I already have some questions to you, man. What are you doing exactly for living?
First is my English, which is miserable. Then it's
no, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It means that all the creation is animated, in fact, and I agree very much. Yeah.
No, it's you know, it's this relationship that I know that you know a lot of about it. So please.
Well, no, it's not that I know a lot of it. It's just something that I find just a, you know, genuine interest in my personal artistic practice. And in fact, I think that probably the best I would explain it if I first of all propose or let myself to argue with the proposition of Christina to see it as a two sides of one coin, because coin has three sides. You know, there is more to these dimensions. I think there is more than just a duality between the creator creation. I think that we cannot speak about the full realization of the potential of the creation in theater if we don't include the parameter of the audience, of someone who is receiving, perceiving, participating in the moment of, you know, mystery of creation being unraveled. I think this is extremely important, especially for theater, as not only for the genre of art that happens and exists only in a place and time. It cannot. It's not translatable to another, you know, to another means as only in the moment of actor doing this work of becoming an agent of, you know, of all the creational intentions put behind. And in this moment, to me, I start to see this process as extremely dear and at the same time intimate, and at the same time extremely professional, because when so for theater to happen, we need the presence of audience, of the witness, right? So and presence of audience in theater is built upon many different cultural conditions, but one of these conditions is completely somehow egoistic aim of you know, chasing the catharsis from the safe shelter of position of witness. From this position, I can look at all the transformations that happens to the actor, and at the same time, it is this only presence of audience, of its eye, of its ear, of whole of its, you know, bodily presence, makes these transformations of actor possible. More than that, it actually makes those transformations meaningful. And in a way, audience is actually craving to empower actor with his forces of creation. And so from this point of view, the creator is not someone making, you know, something wonderful out of nothing, but specifically in acting, it is someone who takes a mission to step beyond the visible and usual reality in order to facilitate the manifestation of another realities, and, you know, on all their endless meanings, facilitated for himself and facilitated in audience. Facilitate the access to this aesthetic experience that we were speaking before, and therefore facilitate the access to the, you know, mystery of creation. And the mechanism of it is seen to me as it described, for example, one of the painters, André Marchand, who says that when I'm in the forest painting trees, I look at them attentively until I understand that it's not me looking at trees, these are trees looking at me. And I crave for becoming full of those trees. And by painting these trees, I become into existence. So when the audience is looking at the creation and at what is happening, it is at the same time, because of the very need of this meaning to be created, the creation is looking to the spectator. And in this process, they're somehow looking to each other, and at the same time they're looking at the same thing. They're looking at the creation itself, without borders between spectator and creator, without hierarchy. So somehow the creation starts to look at the creator and at those observing creation. So this is these three sides of a coin. No, this is for me somehow the beautiful proposition to see the creation and creativity from the perspective of not self-expression. I come myself from the school, you know, built upon, you know, interpretation of what author wanted to say. And then actor needs to interpret what did director interpreted. And then audience will have to interpret what actor interpreted of director's interpretation of author's, and so on. So this chain of, you know, points of view gets just, I don't know, becomes a sand through the fingers when you start to think of it as not anymore one source of a mind that it is constantly being interpreted. The aim of it is not the interpretation itself. The aim of it is a transcendency of a logical limitations of reason somehow. So yeah, and there is much more to that, but I will just leave here. There is much more about it to read in the concept of sacred gaze. There is a big scientific research behind, but
it's clear what you said, because you speak
really,
about.
It's not clear to me.
No. What you speak now, to me it's clear. No, I mean, I got it as main way to not show ourselves, but to try paradoxically to lose ourselves and to see what happens, to open something new, to really to renounce to pretension, and really to be vector, instrument, tools for the new creation, and let it work alone somehow. And from this point of view, it's if we look at it from the religious point of view, exists a lot of ritual that bring us to this direction, because ritual itself is somehow fixed composition, fixed during the time to get it, but and it could be a way to lose ourselves, to reach something new, really. Because we can see the actor, we can look at the actor and as creator, as owner, but through a devised and a ritual path, for example, in the theater, isn't it?
Yes, it's true. I mean, if we come back to the basic, let's say, try to define the actor creator. So we make we understand the actor creator different from the actor instrument of an author, or instrument of a director. Actually, we are speaking about an actor that allows himself to enter to this area, territory of creation, to the actor that is available by himself, without, let's say, the pushing of somebody else, to enter to this unconscious area in order to start creating. Yes, we are speaking about actors that they have a method for this. I mean, to me, method is necessary. It's not a guarantee that will lead to creation, that will lead to art, but still somehow it's method gives some specific steps, like the ritual, some specific lines in order to go somewhere. From this point of view, if we understand the theatrical process as a ritualistic process, as process of transformation, in my understanding, we had perhaps more possibilities to allow ourselves to reach this transcending moment. To me, what is quite important is that although now we are speaking, about creativity and how important, how precious is for artists this moment, is that mainly we are not using our creative potential, meaning we are not using our ideas. We are not catching our ideas in order to develop them and to probably to realize something. And this is quite interesting, because I don't think that it's only because of boredom, let's say of the boredom of human being, why we don't get our ideas that could perhaps as idea it created enthusiasm to us, but why then we don't follow it? I think that the reason is, just to come back, that it's not creation, it's not easy. It's an obligation, or it's a big responsibility, and more than this, in order to go very often to this area, let's say, of chaos, this area of distraction, this area that energy starts to be produced. Somehow this fire of energy could be really hard to follow every day. Of course, we know that some artists, they were very productive, and they really entered there, even sacrificing themselves. We have several examples of this, and we have masterpieces of art. Somehow, perhaps the actor creator has this makes himself available to enter, to pass through this fire quite often, more let's say, than someone in everyday life can do, or a non-artist can do. Energy, as Christine spoke, is of course connected very much for church with body. Energy has its own ethics. Energy manifests desire without morality, and of course this could be something suspicious or dangerous for the ethics of church. I mean, in history, let's say the prophets the church never liked the prophets because of this reason, of this physicality, of this energy that was produced, that was non-control. And at the same time, of course, they knew they had audience, they were speaking, there were people around, they were trying to get. So coming back, Christine, to what you spoke of, how much is reason, how much is energy, perhaps it's always a balance between these two. Of course, we have to go to the unconscious, and at the same time keep a position of observing what we are doing, and then try to compose. To me, the actor creator, the biggest let's say tool is to compose, to connect, try to connect out of this journey, and to create, to give a result.
Everybody, thank you for the splendid introduction to a subject that at least has occupied my energy and attention for a lifetime. And the topics that you touched upon are the themes of a semester-long course that I'm giving at the university, titled Music, Musical Performance, and the Sacred. So it's the whole, I couldn't leave anything of what you said out of the discussion in the context of my semester, so I do this. So where to start, what to say? First, a few caveats, quick caveats, because I don't want to monopolize. You tempt me to talk and respond to everybody who said things. But first of all, church, for me, it seems that this is a metaphor for authority, for power. It was touched upon, but we still need to give it a bit more focus. Then authority can be of different kinds. This applies also to creation, creativity, creator, the act that is the result of the creating process. Namely, there is authority which comes from a deeper spiritual level, you could say from a self-realized authority, which appears as a loving authority, guiding whoever is the recipient of this knowledge. And there is authority that is solidified according to political, socio-political, and economic rules and structures. We need to differentiate between the one kind of authority and the other kind of authority. Second, churches, Christian church, has not dealt with creativity and artistry in the same way. Protestants, Catholics, Orthodox Christians, only to mention three main groups of Christians, have dealt with artistry in fundamentally different ways. And that would be also of interest for further examination. Then I come to the point that occupied our speakers again and again, and this has to do with Olga's perspective about aesthetics, aesthetics being the essence, the quintessential thing, even when spirituality prevails, if I got it right. And then there was the aesthetics versus ethics point. Now, let me share with you very quickly the result of an ethnographic work that I have been doing for ages on one of the islands, Greek islands, and the work focuses on the extempore dialogical singing in a group of people who literally sing their thoughts to one another, and they get responses. So there, I was amazed to learn from them that aesthetics is nothing unless there is ethics also. What did they mean by ethics? They didn't mean the morality. This was a side effect of it. They meant it is of course necessary to be good at singing the music, but you have to be also good at being a person who is part of the community. So ethics and aesthetics, when always coupled, as they expressed, as they performed their identities before their audience. And this I will stop there. There's so many things to say and share with you, but the three-side reality Olga touched upon, and including the audience. I would say, going back to Christine's point that everything is energy, let me drop an idea here coming from the mystical traditions. And by mystical, I mean Hinduism, certain aspects of Hinduism and Sufism, and in some cases, shamanism. This tripartite, this energy perspective has to be coupled with consciousness. So the Hindus tell us. So energy, however perceived, is the other aspect accompanying consciousness in its unfoldment as spirituality. So there is no energy unless you talk about a level of consciousness, a state of consciousness. And then by experiencing a different state of being, a different state of consciousness, a new energy is revealed to you, new possibilities, new ways of coping with reality through energy. And this, and I finish with this point, so it's not a two-side reality, the actor and the act or the product of acting, but it is the acting subject, the acted object, and what links the two as creation is the activity, creativity. So it's the creating subject, the created object, and what links the two, the relation between the subject and the object of creation, is creation par excellence, without the subject and the object. And this is a good way of entering the idea of surrendering, of losing sense of the subject, and of also transcending the object. We know from experience that the achieved, the great artists, whatever the term means, were the ones who transcended their works. And in so doing, they transcended themselves as achieved subjects entering a new realm of discovering the subject as an emerging reality, only to experience it again anew and then render it one way or another to entering the cycle of transcendence.
Thank you, Pavlos, because it is a wonderful, always counterpart, reflecting, adding, complementary work of your words to bring things together and to open again new aspects.
Thank you.
And
yes, my English is not very good. So, but I would like just to remark the aspect to focus a little in that creation is a process and an experience you have to go through. And if we see sometimes how the rehearsals of creation is done, sometimes you're always looking for a result. And it's not look creation as something that has to be, you don't know exactly what are you looking for, but it's being found while you work. It's an experience, and that there comes the transformation and the knowledge. So it has to be with the, as you said, with the energy, with the body, and it's to be experienced. And what is all about is about human. No, where is this human theater? So it's always looking for what we are, we are in the world and our relation. That's the mystery. But it's always about the process. It's something you have to. You don't know exactly where you are going to end. So it's not the director. You do this, or we are going to do this, and this will be. So you don't know exactly where you are going. Something to be revealed, and that's only. I want to focus this in the process of transformation and about experience, something you have to live. And yeah, that's all.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, who likes to pick up on this one? Of course, the experience, what the actor, very often the main, let's say, motif for the actor to go on stage to experience this experience. It is a thrilling moment, this act of creation, to really feel it and do it.
Yeah.
Actually, what Pavlos mentioned it. It's not aesthetics versus ethics. It is actually aesthetics as ethics, because aesthetics is a way of being somehow. So this maybe perspective on seeing it as a process in a sense that it is something to be experienced through how you are living, through what you are. And then of course we can speak differently about results. There's quite a big quite a big discussion of creativity in itself, and it's just, you know, I'm an artist, I'm in the creative process, and then the results of this creativity, something that, you know, you are accountable for. I think this is also very interesting dialectics, some kind of freedom of creation and some responsibilities and deadlines and limitations of this accountability. Yeah, just such remark.
I think that, in my opinion, chaos exists when there's no creation, and the creation could be the opportunity to order the chaos. And I mean, in different role. I mean, I wake up in the morning, and I have the opportunity to recreate every day myself, and this enter in the idea of being human being. But at the same time, this relation arrives to the field of art, of being actress, and then the themes of my life arrive in the theme of the art, and the theme of the art comes back different in the theme of my life, and the dialogue is every time between the light and the dark, and in a Kabbalistic point of view, in some way. So there are every time in the part of a human being, the dialogue between light and dark. And so to be conscious that I can create, so to go and work and create, coming from a book, coming from a music, coming from a theme that is important, or that I feel in this moment. And also, I don't know if it is clear what I'm saying, but and also it's interesting for me in this period to see myself in this different role. I mean, the person, the artist, and to give power to the word, and then to the role, and then suddenly come back to a character, and to make a sort of relation of dialogue between all this part. And this is something that gives me the energy and the opportunity to create.
Thank you, Federica.
Thank you, Federica. I would
yes,
like
please.
to take the chance, because from we spoke quite a lot about the opposites, dark, light, and it's coming in my mind the beautiful text of William Blake, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, which actually this poem can be read also as an artistic manifest. So of course there Blake is speaking about marriage of the opposites, marriage of good, bad, marriage of body, soul, light, dark, etc. For Blake, which somehow he presented himself, he considered himself a visionary artist. To him, somehow the artistic creation was already envisioned. Somehow, because we are speaking about the different processes of creation. It could be like Carmina described before, to go and don't know where are you going, which it happens quite often somehow, and it's also, let's say, the process of William Blake, which creation is somehow the recording, if I may say, of his visions. And another quite important element for Blake's, let's say, creative creation was that he was working quite a lot with the images, even if in his poetry, which is words, still we have lots of images. So it's always in my understanding, for the art, let's say, of creation, we have these two different directions: creating through the image and creating through the words, through through ideas and concepts. So again, in my understanding, this marriage that Blake is proposing is quite interesting for us, and he also gives a name to another marriage, to the marriage of intellect and energy, and the name that he gives is fantasy, imagination. He understands fantasy, which we did, of course, we can speak in another talk about the importance of this tool for an artist. But it's quite interesting definition from his side. It's energy and intellect together. Yes, Eleni.
Yes. I will try also to share with you some of my thoughts. It's very interesting, the whole subject, and I thank you all, because there's been a while since we began this conversation that I'm having a huge monologue in my mind. So I said, okay, I'll just speak and see if I can put in order some thoughts. I'm a little bit stuck in the word creator. So I wanted to make a comment. It's not totally new, of course. I think the creator with the C majuscule, if we can say this, is in a way the monopoly of a church, because let's say church believes that there is only one creator, and this is God. At least we are speaking, of course, for monotheistic religions. Creation at the same time is forbidden, let's say, from the church, okay? Because I conceive it because it is exactly the mystery of the creator. Only we can put in this word, finally, creator, that behind it is the man, again with an M majuscule, okay? The man, anthropos, as also Nietzsche conceives it. So going a little bit away from the conflict, I would say once more that for me, let's say for the artists, I in a way doubt the word creator, okay? Of course, I'm not going to take it to a theoretical, let's say, basis. I just want to speak that creation is really what is beyond. So it involves this surrender for which Pavlos talked to us. it involves find a ritual or a process or a method that one could find, so as we become almost possessed, so be actually as artists suspended, let's say, between being actively givers and recipients, because it is of course a very active way, and of course because we need, even if we want it or not, to end up in a result. I think let's say creation is the transformation of the being, so it refers to the being, okay, but we need the doing as well. Otherwise, okay, we stay, let's say, in a transposition, and we may not end up in a result. So for me, creator, which I take out as a word and I put there the doing, or what, for example, Pavlo said, being good at, I would say that this is creativity, and it is a different, okay, creation is, and creativity is different than creation, because creativity is exactly how will we finally connect all those elements that came out of the trip, let's say, how, and this is really probably, it's a big word to say, but this is what the art product could be. How do we match finally these elements, these fragments, and if they create a third thing, something new, not only prototype, because we cannot be prototype in any way. We always base on experiences that we had before, but it's a third product.
Thank you, Eleni. Thank you, Eleni. And I think now, of course, somehow we warm up, but at the same time, we are already talking for quite a while, and let's keep this energy immediately then to the next talk, and to the next talk, because as you know, our Team of Teachers talk is should become a continuum of good and creative exchange between artists, whoever wants to join our talk. Just one final remark, because it was so much touching me what Federica said before, that she wakes up and somehow creates herself and herself as artist every morning new. And probably it's changing every day, but this image of the self-creation of the artist, I would like to give you as a, let's say, final image, or one of the final images, and that we are responsible for this creation. So no one else is responsible for ourselves than we, and as artists, and it's this self-empowerment, and it's exactly this striving for self-creation as an artist. What is, let's say, the heavy task, but also the very, very beautiful task. So I hope that my colleagues, Riccardo, Dimitris, and Olga, and all the speakers now could help everyone and ourselves and everyone a little bit on this way for the self-creation, and move forward with all your arts, with your thoughts, with your projects.